Okay, so let's watch episode 3. Oh, here we go. Ah, wait, no, this is the one we've already watched. Episode 3. Wait, no, we're on 4 now. I'm stupid. We're on 4 now. Here we go. YouTube. No map of mystery as much as Google Map in the earth, yeah. Yeah. Oh, inappropriate. Here we go. More live stream, the live stream alibi. It's always live stream, man.
It's not unheard of for streamers to do atrocious things live on camera in the pursuit of clout.
Sure.
But this is the first time that I've come across one who has used a stream to cover up his off-camera atrocities.
Okay.
Northern Irish streamer Stephen McCullough, better known by his username VoteSaxon07, was a popular YouTuber who specialized in toy reviews. If you're a fan of Doctor Who memorabilia, you may have heard of him. And yet, despite his relatively frequent upload schedule, if you head over to his channel right now,
like Luke from,
you'll notice that his last
Tip,
video was posted about 3 weeks ago. Now, it's not unusual for YouTubers to take breaks to avoid burnout, but the reason behind Stephen's absence is much more sinister
I'm
than
sure
that.
it is.
On December 18th, 2022, the body of Stephen's girlfriend, 32-year-old Natalie McNally, was found inside her Silverwood Green home. She had been stabbed multiple times, and her hands and arms were covered in defensive wounds.
Damn.
Natalie was 15 weeks pregnant at the time of her slaying, and she had no doubt fought not only for her own life, but for that of her unborn sons. After examining the scene,
I feel like I know where this is going. Did he... like, was he live or something when it happened? And then he did it, and he came back to act like nothing happened, and to have the alibi that he was just streaming, and he just took a quick break, no way he killed his girlfriend in between? Is this what it is?
Investigators realized there were no signs of a forced entry, indicating that Natalie both knew and trusted her killer, at least well enough for her to unlock the door for them while she was home alone. In such cases, the victim's partner is usually considered the prime suspect. However, our man Stephen had a rock-solid alibi. At the exact time that the murder had taken place, he happened to be hosting a live stream on his YouTube channel. The 6-hour-long stream clearly showed Stephen in his Lisbon home, playing video games on the...
Oh, but is he interacting with chat? Is it just like a pre-recording or something? That'd be too obvious though, like, that wouldn't be a good alibi. Except if you're like, you know, like me, sometimes a 0 viewer on D and there's literally no one chatting, then I could get away with like literally like playing like a pre-recorded version of myself. But otherwise, like, if you're not interacting with chat, it's obvious that you're not actually live, you're just playing a pre-recording. Yeah.
Night that his girlfriend was slain, and proved that he couldn't have been the person who took Natalie's life.
Is it that stupid?
Many of Stephen's subscribers had watched the stream live on December 18th, so if he were to ever be charged, there would be plenty of witnesses to speak in his defense and say that he was indeed home on the night that the slaying occurred.
But...
irrefutable evidence of his innocence, you may be thinking.
I don't think so.
Well, initially, the investigators thought the same, and despite taking him in for questioning, they were forced to let Stephen walk free. That is, until some new, damning evidence came to light. Detectives decided to take a look at some of the CCTV footage from the night of the incident, captured in areas around Natalie McNally's home. And wouldn't you know it, a surveillance camera caught Stephen riding a bus from the scene of the crime. According to analysts, Stephen could be seen wearing a yellow rubber glove.
I mean, I guess good thing that he's so dumb, right? But I'm always surprised how people, like, clearly he had every intention of getting away with it, and yet he's so stupid, right? Like, he did all this bullshit of setting up a live stream for an alibi, but then he took public transport and of course was caught on camera, like, obviously it's a good thing they were stupid and he was caught for what he's done, but I can't believe a case like this where, yeah, like, how can you miss such an obvious thing when you're trying to get away with it?
Underneath a black glove as he paid the bus driver. That stuck out to investigators. Traces of a yellow marigold cleaning glove were found on a blood smear in Natalie's home. Well, after combing through more than 4,000 hours of footage from different surveillance cameras, detectives were able to trace all of Stephen's movements on December 18th, from when he arrived on Natalie's street at 8:52 p.m.
So I guess there's not much you can do. It's not like you could disable every security camera or anything, but well, again, the more the stories don't kill people because you're gonna get caught.
When he left her house at 9:30. To him taking a combination of public transport and a taxi back to his home. It was all there in grainy black and white. Stephen clearly was the man responsible for ending Natalie's life. And yet, that just didn't make sense. Thousands of people had watched Stephen playing video games in his home at the time of the incident.
It's obvious where this is going.
How could he have been in two places at once? The simple answer is, he wasn't.
Yeah.
Stephen's December 18th livestream had been pre-recorded. He had filmed the video days before he killed his partner and planned to use it as an alibi.
That should have been obvious to everybody, right? Any normal viewers would realize the streamer is not interacting with chat even one bit. That should be insanely obvious.
Shortly before departing from his home and heading to Natalie's, Stephen began his fake stream, which he titled The Violent Night Christmas Live Gaming Stream.
That's insane.
This went out to his viewers, who all believed that they were watching a live video.
There's no way they
Natalie herself even liked Stephen's tweet announcing the stream was live, unaware that in that moment, he was on his way over to kill
why?
her.
Why would he kill her?
After looking at the video, there were a few signs that the stream itself had been pre-recorded. At the very beginning, for example, Stephen remarks that he won't be able to read the live chat due to technical difficulties.
Well, because this streaming software is kind of up the left, it means I can't check the live chat, which is a real shame. So, by
What a shitty excuse.
all means, talk amongst yourselves. I could use my phone to dip in every now and again and check it, but I've decided that I kind of hate live streams where people just sit and read comments and go, "Oh my god, yes, ask me questions, better." And I'll
What a fucking disgusting person, man. The way he's acting, knowing what he was about to do.
So if I go on my phone for too long, I'll end up just scrolling through TikTok, and the amount of time that I've lost scrolling through TikTok is unbelievable. So yeah, phone's away.
It just makes him want to punch him,
Can't look at the live chat for some bloody reason, because if I do, it makes the whole thing freeze and OBS just screws up.
Throughout the stream, he kept on awkwardly bringing up the fact that he wouldn't be interacting with the chat. Obviously, because for him, there was no live chat for him to be interacting with. That didn't stop his viewers from typing away during the pre-recorded stream though.
Sure.
All of them oblivious to the fact that they weren't watching their favorite YouTuber live, but actually
At least he had a fucking excuse, yeah. That's why people are probably not sussing him out too much, yeah.
the recording of a cold and calculated killer.
That is
using
insane,
them
yeah.
for an alibi.
That is insane.
Throughout this live stream, Stephen even seemed to drop little hints about his plan.
Oh my god.
3 hours, 26 minutes, and 24 seconds into the video, while Stephen is supposedly taking a break, he flashes a "No Time to Die" poster on the screen.
Oh, it's a movie? Why would you even do this? Don't understand.
After the break ends, he smirks and says it was a simple mistake. Given when Stephen began his pre-recorded stream, that "No Time to Die" image would have appeared at 9:26 p.m. The time that Natalie's killer was inside her home, murdering.
What a... That's insane. Not only was it premeditated, but he was joking around with it.
Her.
What a piece of
At a
shit.
different point, he even says Natalie's name outright.
Yeah, that's physics. That's what would happen in the real world. Abso-fucking-notly. Abso-fucking-notly.
So why would Stephen leave these seemingly intentional hints throughout the video? Narcissism, perhaps? Duper's delight? Or perhaps...
I mean, it could be like he actually wanted to be caught or something. Or yeah, as we said again, some kind of they'll never catch me, and I'm so cool for doing this perfect, you know, perfect timing thing or something. I don't know.
He wanted people to pick up on them. Who can say? When detectives seized Stephen's computer, they found the video of the staged livestream, and the metadata proved that it had been filmed 4 days before the killing.
It didn't even delete it.
They also learned that following the slaying, Stephen visited Natalie's parents and
God.
left his phone behind at their house on record. This was his makeshift bugging device, so he could determine whether they suspected him or not. He returned 40 minutes later to collect his phone, which he pretended he had left behind by accident. On February 2nd of this year, Stephen was charged with Natalie's murder. During his first court hearing, he admitted to striking a previous romantic partner in the face back in 2019, and also to faking the livestream on his channel, though he vehemently denied having anything to do with Natalie's demise.
Okay.
Now it seems that his video alibi is going to be used as proof
Well,
of
yeah.
premeditation.
Well, yeah.
It's important to note that this case is still fresh and ongoing, and that Stephen is yet to stand trial and be found guilty. But with...
Let's look it up. Let's look it up if you actually get something. Stephen livestream killer. 2023. Man charged with NI murder fake livestream to provide alibi. All right. What was he charged with, though? What's his name again? Stephen McCullough. Is there sentencing yet? 2024? He's not guilty, of course. Of course. I mean, it'd be a twist, but there's no way he didn't do it, right? Pregnant, please not guilty. Maybe there's no sentencing yet. The case will be reviewed in March. It was like early of this year. September 11. New court case date set. Okay, so there's no sentencing yet. Yeah.
Such a mountain of evidence against him, I think it's safe to say that the right man's been charged.
Seems like it.
Now the only question is, what compelled him to take the life of his pregnant partner?
Maybe, I don't know. Like, I mean, explain, yeah.
His excuse, whatever it may be, is of course irrelevant.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is that 2 innocent lives were taken
But it
by
would
a
be good
cold
to know
and
to rate him
calculating
even more.
individual who no doubt thought he was smart enough to get away with his actions.
That is insane.
Stephen's infamous livestream is still up on his channel.
Huh.
Watching it now, knowing why he made it and what he was planning, is unsettling, to say the least.
Attack, panic, attack. That's what we're doing.
You just want to, like, fucking punch him to death. Like, he has the most punchable fucking face, especially knowing everything. I mean, what a piece of shit. This kind of videos, like this, you know, darkest moment or disturbing things, sometimes they make me, like, less disturbed and more just fucking pissed off, you know? Like, the guy is probably not even going to get life or something, right? Like, he's going to be able to get out and continue his life at some point. It's absolutely insane, whatever the reason is. Like, he didn't want the kid, he was having an affair, whatever the fuck it is. Just terrible. Audio interruption. ITV audio interruption, okay. I'm just
On
mad.
September 19th, 2022, Queen Elizabeth II's funeral procession was broadcast live throughout the world by numerous TV stations. One of those broadcasters was ITV.
Wait, isn't that like... No, it's probably not. Isn't there like a pretty fucked up but funny meme of some radio station, Queen Elizabeth's radio station? This, like, it's a freaking funny clip. I don't know if I can find it. Oh yeah, this might be it.
Buckingham Palace has announced the death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.
Just back into the fucking techno music. It's such a dumb thing. This was like some radio station or something. I don't think this is probably about that. This isn't disturbing, it's just funny.
One of the UK's major free-to-air networks, and the second most watched channel behind BBC One. It was during that news coverage, as the procession came to an end, and Her Majesty's body was being driven to Windsor, that a strange audio message interrupted the programme.
Okay.
The death is irreversible, and the fact that she's...
As you can see...
That's weird.
Well, as you can see here in London, it is a lovely day, and as the hearse heads out into West London...
Just before a male reporter began describing the unfolding events live on air,
yeah.
a still unidentified woman with an English accent was heard whispering the words, "The death is irreversible, and the fact is she's trapped now." Others seem to hear the fact that she's trapped now.
The death is irreversible, and the fact that she's trapped.
As you can see...
It does sound like trapped, yeah.
The death is irreversible, and the fact that she's trapped.
As you can see...
She sounds like the psychiatrist in The Sopranos, Dr. Melfi.
The voice is then cut off by the presenter. It's unclear whether this cryptic message was aimed at the viewers directly, or whether this woman was simply talking to a colleague and her words were accidentally picked
like
up
background
for the world
stuff,
to
yeah.
hear. Whatever the case though, she had certainly caught the public's attention. The content of the voice's message was creepy enough on its own, but given the context, her words took on an altogether more disturbing meaning.
Yeah.
It sounded to many listeners as if this woman was talking about the Queen herself, and
Yeah.
that she had accidentally, or intentionally, revealed some top-secret information. That the government, or some type of clandestine organization, had tried to reanimate Elizabeth II, only for her spirit to somehow become stuck somewhere. Even weirder, it seemed to imply that to the most powerful in society, methods do already exist to make death
You're stretching it, dude. Come on.
or at least
Come on.
that transferring consciousness is possible. Others remarked that the voice sounded eerily similar to that of the late Princess Diana's.
Well, we had unique pressures put upon us, and we both tried our hardest to cover them up, but obviously it wasn't to be.
The death is irreversible, and the fact that she's trapped.
As you can see...
I mean, they both have a whispery kind of voice, but I still think she sounds more like Dr. Melfi, yeah. Yeah. I think it's literally just someone talking about something cut in the background. It is a weird sentence, but out of context, right? So it's probably just someone being cut on a mic.
Of course, a more rational explanation would be that this hushed woman was simply another reporter practicing lines, or speaking abstract nonsense to warm up her voice. This reporter had either left her microphone on by mistake, or she was broadcasting on a different network, and her audio signal got picked up by ITV.
No, it's clearly someone
Those
whispering.
are both possibilities, sure. I've also seen one source claim that the voice was from a guest of the Mail news reporter, and her words were picked up by his microphone. That does sound plausible too. There are also those that hear the word travelling instead of trapped.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's trapped that she's saying, because that's where her voice kind of cut out. So I'm not sure if it's trapped.
Which makes a lot more sense given the circumstances. But even so, who just drops the line, "the death is irreversible," into casual conversation?
Yeah.
It's such an unnecessarily strange statement to make,
Yeah,
especially during a news report.
that is weird.
ITV is yet to explain the broadcast interruption themselves, so all we can do is speculate on what this woman was
Why
talking
does
about,
no one ever explain this
why
thing?
she said
Fuck
it
off.
in such a strange way,
Explain.
and how it wound up on live TV in the first place.
What is this freaking visual? It's definitely like a weird line, but it's just someone's voice being cut on a mic. That's it. Come on. The Steam show. Steam.
Ekaterina Didenko is a popular Russian influencer with 1.5 million Instagram followers. A med school graduate and trained pharmacist, she regularly posts videos related to health and life advice. Oftentimes, this advice is questionable, with Ekaterina telling her followers to make use of homemade medicines instead of going to the doctor.
I mean, as people always say, like, you know, like it might be simpler, but don't trust any YouTuber's advice on, like, you know, health stuff, I guess. Like, even though it might just be easy to look up a YouTube video, just don't.
Despite many criticizing her for making potentially dangerous content, that hasn't stopped Ekaterina from amassing a sizable audience and creating a successful business online.
Of course.
Though interestingly, a lot of that success came after she began documenting a very dark chapter of her life.
Okay. Oh, maybe
In
I
February of 2020,
know about this one.
Ekaterina was celebrating her 29th
Yeah, is this the pool incident? Yeah, okay, I know the story.
birthday
But I
with
forget
friends and loved ones
the details,
at a
let's watch
party in
it.
Moscow. The event, of course, had to be a spectacle, since Ekaterina was eager to not only enjoy the party herself, but to also make posts about it for all of her followers to see.
I
To help
just remember a bunch of people die or something.
Celebrate the occasion in style.
Yeah.
Her devoted husband, 32-year-old Valentin Didenko, had planned quite the extravaganza. In fact, he had a grand secret up his sleeve. His piece de resistance. The steam show. The sauna complex where they were hosting the party had a very special amenity. A swimming pool. Inspired by a popular trend in Russia at the time, Valentin planned to gather all of the guests inside the enclosed pool room, and then drop 25 kilograms of dry ice into the water,
Health
essentially
influencer
creating
again.
a dry ice hotbox.
It all sounds very
After
healthy.
eating and drinking and joking around together, Valentin led all of the guests into the pool room to enjoy the main event, handing out goggles and protective suits to wear. He then shut the doors, wanting his smoky display to last as long as possible.
And frankly, I would say, like, you know, I'm not an health influencer, and I wouldn't have known either. But come on. Before doing something like this, you should try to look up if it's dangerous, no?
Ekaterina herself recorded what happened next.
Looks like a lot of
As
shampoo.
expected, as soon as the dry ice hit the water, a huge amount of fog blanketed the pool's surface and quickly began to fill the small room. Spurred on by the crowd, Valentin then jumped into the pool and disappeared under the fog. The partygoers all cheered and laughed as he did, with one of them, possibly Ekaterina, joking. That's it. He's dead. He's no longer with us.
Он умер! Все, его нет больше!
Those words would turn out to be eerily prophetic. When
Yeah.
dry ice reacts with water, the thick gas that it creates isn't just harmless water vapor. It's
I was actually thinking, like, I don't even know what it is, but frankly, like, for me, even though I know nothing about this, if you tell me dry ice plus, like, chlorine or something, I'd be thinking maybe there's something bad with this. Like, that would be my first thought. Like, the second someone mentioned putting some dry ice in a pool, I'd be thinking about something like that. I don't know. Well, maybe because I already know of this case, otherwise I wouldn't. But isn't it pretty well known that dry ice is not something to mess with?
highly concentrated carbon dioxide. If breathed in large amounts, CO2 is toxic to humans and causes asphyxiation and
Yep.
death. And Valentin was now inside the eye of the storm, unable to breathe both above and below the water's surface. Valentin reappeared on camera just once after that, flailing and gasping for air. His friends sure that he was just trying to make them laugh, But when he failed to come back up a second time, they slowly began to realize that something wasn't right. Made all the more clear when several of them began to feel sharp pains running through their bodies, and they all began suffering from a shortness of breath. Everybody started evacuating the room, but for 3 of them, it was too late.
3 of them. So like, even those who didn't get into it, actually it was too much. That's insane. I mean, obviously I still feel bad for her though, like, let's be honest. She might be a shitty arse influencer, but here, you know, clearly this was an accident. They had no idea. At the same time, we get the idea of putting dry ice into a pool. But it's still fucked up. Basically, the husband not only killed himself, but a bunch of other people for this party. Like, that is sad. Even though, again, she herself might not be, you know, any kind of perfect person. I can still feel bad.
Valentin and 2 other guests, Natalia Monakova and Yuri Alfarov, suffocated at the scene.
Damn.
Following the tragedy, Ekaterina's behavior was unusual. As her husband lay dying in a hospital bed, Ekaterina livestreamed what was happening.
Oh, so he wasn't dead instantly?
And even posted this very same video to her social media account for her viewers to watch, despite the fact that it showed her husband and 2 of her friends.
I mean, okay, maybe I take back what I said. She's all about the views, right?
Moments before their untimely ends. Following this, she continued to document the incident, and many have accused her of using her husband's death to gain more views and followers.
I'd believe it, I'd believe it.
It was a successful strategy.
So many people do stuff like this.
Since all of her accounts grew massively following the pool party incident.
Of course, because some people will feel bad.
Many put her strange behavior down to her being terminally online, with one psychologist stating that Ekaterina, quote, is so immersed in the virtual world that it's difficult for her to realize where reality is and where it's not.
And frankly, me included in a sense, well, maybe not to that extent, but a lot of people are terminally online, and most people who do online content are very terminally online. And so it's so common to see stories like this, where like someone is literally recording themselves in like ton of stuff, you know, they're recording themselves in an hospital room next to family member dying, at a wedding, at a funeral, where they themselves are like, you know, I've just been shot, let me go live. You know, it's a very terminally online thing that people have reached. So again, like, I'm not surprised one bit. Like, no one is surprised.
But there are others who have suggested that Ekaterina's behavior stemmed from something more sinister. That Ekaterina either didn't care about her husband or actively wanted him out of the picture.
Who knows?
In their minds, there's no way that a trained pharmacist with experience in chemistry wasn't aware what would happen when you combine dry ice with water.
But is she, again, like he mentioned that she had dubious advice and stuff like that. Like, that's what you expect of an internet influencer about anything, right? Like, they try to appear very knowledgeable, but they often took out of their ass. So it's very possible that she didn't know. That's what I'm going to assume.
In a confined space. To be clear, that's all speculative.
Especially because she might have literally killed herself. I mean, she was the room like everybody else. Like, if she genuinely knew, you know, she might have killed herself too.
The authorities consider the incident to have been a case of misadventure. Still, even though everyone grieves in their own way, her behavior was undoubtedly strange. Less than 3 months after her husband passed away, Ekaterina began dating a 22-year-old actor.
Okay.
Just 5 months later, she announced that they were engaged.
Okay, now that's sus. I mean, people deal with like grief and move on faster than others, but 3 months afterward? Okay, now that's more sus. Not in the sense that she might have killed him, but maybe it was right that she didn't really care much about him. I don't know.
She remarried in March of last year, just 1 year after the death of her previous husband.
It's insane.
Valentin, the man who tried to make her 29th birthday one that she would never forget.
Bro, I lost my dog like 3 months ago, and I can't imagine having a dog for years. I mean, how can you move on for your literal husband, clearly father of one of your kids, like that?
I suppose in one sense, he succeeded.
Insane. Absolute brain rot insanity. But again, I believe it. It's very internet brain rot. I mean, a lot of people are like that on the internet these days. like big creators, small creators, like people streaming so much stuff, you know, that they shouldn't be streaming or videotaping. It's so common, right? Like, you know, that's just the way it has become. So I believe it. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I'd heard of this case before, but I'd forgotten the details. It's pretty insane. It's pretty insane.